Hello, friends, and welcome to Pathologic Volume 3, Episode 1. As I mentioned yesterday, Volume 3 will be a mini-series where I will be constructing puzzles rather than just solving them. And right now I'm planning on that only being about 5 episodes. The exact number will depend on inspiration on my end. But then we'll get back to the normal pattern after this run. But just because these are about puzzle construction doesn't mean that you won't have a puzzle to solve, because the finished puzzle that I construct I will be linking in the episode description below, just like the puzzles were linked before, so you can feel free to start off by trying to solve these puzzles on your own if you wish, and then join me to see how the thing was made, and give your feedback in the comments, please, especially if you've tried your hand at making these kinds of puzzles in the past. That would be appreciated. These are all going to be styles that we've seen before, and you can go back and view the previous instances of these puzzle types in the archives. But before each one, I will be giving you a quick look at the rules. Nurikabe is a shading puzzle. We will shade cells in the puzzle such that all shaded cells are orthogonally connected but never form a 2x2 shaded region. Orthogonally connected just means sharing an edge, so vertically or horizontally connected. We can never form a 2x2 shaded region. As you can see, we don't have a square of black cells right there. A number clue is never shaded and shows the size of the orthogonally connected unshaded region it is part of. So that's saying that this 6 is part of an unshaded region of 6 cells, and in the answer you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cells in that region. The fact that these are diagonally connected does not matter because we're talking about orthogonally connected. All unshaded regions have exactly one clue. That means we can't have an extra region. We couldn't surround this white square here with shaded cells all around here because that would be illegal. And also we can't have two, this example, it would be impossible anyway, but we can't have, let's say these were both 4s, they couldn't be part of the same 4-cell region because it's exactly one clue. Today I am constructing a Nurikabe puzzle, and I'm using the puzz.link editor. When it's a PuzzLink supported genre, this is usually where I would prefer to do my setting work because it allows me to quickly switch between edit mode and answer mode. The biggest lesson that I've learned in putting together pencil logic puzzles is that you really need to be able to switch your mindset from the puzzle constructor to the puzzle solver and back and forth again, and being able to switch those modes helps that a lot. I'm going to start with a couple easy ins for this solver. And so let's think about a pattern that is completely constrained. One such pattern, of course, is a single, as just a 1, because a 1 in the grid immediately gives you the whole size of that a region, because it can only be 1. So if we put a 1, say, here, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to answer mode, and I'm going to say, if this was the puzzle I was presented, this incomplete puzzle, what could I do to solve it? And I could fill in these cells immediately, and I could say that this cell must also be shaded, since all the shaded cells have to be connected in Nurikabe. And now I'm going to ask myself, well, how, as a solver, what would I like to do next? If I had another clue, what would be helpful to me? And there are a couple things that present themselves as possibilities there. We could have large numbers that need space to grow. We could constrain the wall, and I think that's probably what we're going to do here. If I put a number, I'm going to go back to edit mode. If I put a number, say here, that will constrain this to move outward and block these two apart, possibly setting us up for some kind of connectivity argument later on. If I went, say, over here, this gives much less information to the solver because there are two ways out from here. So I'm going to put a number here. I'm not sure what the number is yet, but I'm going to put a question mark there. This isn't going to, I don't intend for this to be a question mark clue at the end. I'm just putting a placeholder there so I can go back to answer mode and say, what would happen next? Well, this would have to come out like this, and now these are separated. And I'm going to want this to end up having to be somewhat larger, I think. And I'm going to actually now put another clue here. And since it's exactly one clue per region, that gives us a shaded cell here. That makes this wall have to come down. And now we can play with how big can we make these numbers and do something interesting in the grid. I think that if I put another number of some kind here, what I can do now is, assuming this, I haven't given this number a size yet, but let's say it's at least 2. This region's going to have to come down here. This is going to have to come down here, and we're going to have to separate right there. So let's say this is at least 3. This has to come down. This has to come down like that. Let's say this is also at least 3. And that has to come out here. It has to come out here. This has to come out. And so by giving these numbers, I haven't really determined what the numbers are, but I'm saying there are at least 3. That has forced a good chunk of the grid. And what we can now, I think what I'm going to do is actually make this one a 3. I'm going to wait on this one for a second. And so now this 3 is done. And these are probably going to connect. So what can we do next? I would like to have this, be nice to force this to grow pretty large. And in so doing, force this wall to kind of go the long way. So I can do that by putting a couple more placeholder numbers in this column here. If I did one here and tell this number that it is at least 6, let's say. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It would have to come down here at minimum. It might go there. We wouldn't have disproved that. This number is at least 6. This wall has to keep on coming down. And now we can maybe put a number down here that forces the wall over. And if this now, let's say this number now can't, let's say this number is now at least 7. That's interesting to me because at 7, what's the minimum space it could take up? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 is the first impression that you get in terms of not touching other numbers, but that would isolate this square. So in fact, that doesn't work. So it's going to have to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. can't actually take up both of these spots, but if it takes up this one, it can't go any further. So it's going to be this one. This is not part of it. So that must be wall now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Can't go there because of this. 7. I like that. And let's say that this one, let's say that this is a 7 now. I'm just going to kind of make that a final number for now. 7 now is boxed in. This has to come down through here. Now this number we can make large enough to force this wall to go this way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, let's make that a 6. So the puzzle tends to get more interesting as larger numbers enter the grid. So you look for ways of doing that so it's not all 1s and 2s. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 can't go up here because now this needs to come out here. 6. And now we've got our first place where we can say this would be a 2 by 2, and that will be we want to find opportunities to use that as well. Let's make this one. Let's assert that both of these are larger than 1, so they're both coming this way. And let's say that I want to do something that forces this down here, probably. To do that, all I need is a number here. And now these can't touch, so I'm going to separate those. We're going to just say this is a larger number. This is going to come down this way, forcing this out here. That feels good. And this F shape here still has 2 exit points. It'd be nice to constrain that. I'm going to plonk in another question mark here to give us a couple more walls, and to give us a chance at... Oh, lovely. If this is larger than 1, then it will have to come down here. And that's going to give us a wall here. And it will maximize the size of this at 5. So I can just give it a 5. And then in the answer mode, it'll do this. And this will have to come up here. This, again, if we have make it larger than 2, will come out this way, forcing this wall out here. Now we know that this one, let's say it is... I want to do something that forces a connectivity argument from one of these 2 sides. The easy thing to do would be to plunk a number here, which gives me a wall here. Oh, actually, that's illegal. That would break the puzzle. If this were a number, then this would be shaded. This couldn't be shaded because of 2 by 2, and then we'd have a broken puzzle. So can't do that. So this is going to not be a number. It could be part of a region, but it can't be a number. If it's part of a region, it's part of this region. And I kind of like that. I want this to be big and force this out here, really. That would be the best. So how am I going to do that? this might be a place where I look at maximizing. How big can this number be? This could be an excuse to put a really large number in a cell. If this were, so these cells, these two regions need to somehow scoot around the right side of the grid. So how big can this be without breaking that? Because if this cell reaches the right side of the grid, then we've cut it off. So this can't ever enter, this can't reach the right side, nor can it reach the top for the same reason. It would cut off everything. So if it doesn't touch any of those cells, let's see how big it could be. It could be this big, maybe this big, naively, and it would allow this part to escape. But that's actually not going to work because these need to connect as well, and the only way they're going to connect is through here. So I believe that this is the largest this region can be. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I'm going to make this an 11. That makes this a 2, which is smaller than I wanted, obviously. But it does force that and forces this, forces all of that, which is really nice. Because now we just have this region down here to complete. And we're probably going to slide mostly along the edge again. But what we could do would be make it go through a little gap here. And we can do that by, let's see if we can make this a 4 region. And this comes down like that. So if this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and this is a 4, let's say, what happens? So this has to grow at least one more, forcing a wall here so it doesn't touch the 4. The 4 now goes 1, 2, at least 3. This region needs to come through the gap, so it's going to go there. That forces the rest of the 5. Oops, we got a little bit of a goof there. So, broke the puzzle because that's going to force a 2 by 2 region there. So I am going to back up. And so that 4 doesn't work. The 4-5 combo. What can work? This can't go that far south is what that means because of this right here. This can't go south and then not also travel east because that would cut off this side. So maybe we give another gimme of a 1 right here so that the connection becomes easy. And then this side needs to come out here. This needs to come out here. And now we have a little region here. This is going to have to connect. We can do this as a 4 now, which will give us this one and these two. This needs to connect, and then we can give another 4, say here, to say the rest of it is not shaded. Or we could even make it something like a little bit smaller than that. Let's say this is a 3, which is a little less immediately obvious what's happening. So we'd have to do this to avoid the 2 by 2. And of these two cells, we can't have this one be the shaded one. So it would have to be this one unshaded and this one shaded. and that would complete it. And so now what I do is I erase the answer and I try to solve this and make sure that it is in fact solvable, and whether the path that I followed when I was setting it is in fact what I would do when I'm solving it. So when I'm solving it, I'm going to start with the ones, box them in. I'm going to look at numbers that are diagonally adjacent or only have one cell in between them, like these, that are immediate givens. Then I will look at any stranded pieces of wall, like this dead end coming out here, this dead end coming out. I'm going to look at numbers that need to grow and only have one option, there and there, giving us more walls. This 2 has to come out here. So it looks like we've successfully made the break-in still be the top left corner, because the rest of it is has these fairly large numbers that make that a little more difficult, which is good. The 3 comes out one more and is done. That's going to force this wall to come out here. The 7 comes down, making this wall come down here. 7 could be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And that's a wall. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This wall has to come out here. 7 has to come at least that far. 5 has to come out here. Can't be touching. 4 comes down here. This is now a cell that can't be reached by anything, making this have to be unshaded. This cell now needs to come over here to connect. Now we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, completing the 7 clue. The 5 comes down here, can't touch the 4, comes down here. This 6 clue, 1, 2, 3, 4 in some way, 5, 6. This wall needs to connect, so actually that gives us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and one more, but the wall comes out a little farther, so that's the 6. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right there. This comes out here. The left side of the grid comes out at the bottom. And now this 4 will tell us how this connects through here. This is not shaded. The 3 can't be like this because we would leave a stranded cell, so it's got to be like that. And now we've got a big 11 region, and we're going to end up not having to actually count it, hopefully, because this region is now stranded and this needs to come out here. These need to connect, and the only way they can do that without having an extra region without a number in it is to hug the wall. So that's going to bring these right around like that, and we don't even need to count this, but we will. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and we've done all of that. And that is how we set a Nurikabe.